Hey, it's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. We're back with another wreath kit tutorial. If you didn't buy this kit, it's totally okay. I hope you enjoy this video. This is the official measurements and cuts and tutorial for the kit. If you are interested in a full wreath kit from us, you can join our email list, as those folks on our list get first dibs on all of our kits. You can check that out if you go to don'tmissemails.com. The kit came with this super cute sign, 3 ribbons for my bow, your pipe cleaner, a full roll of the Deco Mesh, which I've already pre-cut to kind of help us go a little bit quicker. It came with 2 super duper cute ribbons for our ribbon tails in the wreath. And it also came with a full pancake wreath bundle. You guys, these bundles are, and I kind of pushed the first one through already, but it comes with a recipe card that gives you a recipe for the 14-inch and a recipe for the 10-inch. You can scan this here. It'll bring you right to my YouTube video that teaches, not this video, but it teaches the another pancake wreath. Just real simple instructions. So the frame is tacked together for shipping so that it doesn't end up broken in transport. So you're just going to poke those through. I already did that one by accident. I wanted to be able to show you. But then you just want to, poke them through. They're supposed to be that way. It's possible they got to you already and they are have already come apart, and that's okay. They just wanted them to be tacked on purpose so that we don't have to worry about them breaking. So you can use this recipe card. You can follow along with us right now. Of course, we're going to use our 14-inch frame as said. We're going to set this aside because we don't need it. We've already cut what we needed. I just used a rotary cutter, okay, to cut the mesh. I use a rotary cutter. I use a self-healing mat. And I just make sure when I'm cutting, I'm applying pressure so that it's not just kind of cutting. I want it to be nice and crisp cut. So make sure you have a nice new blade, a nice fresh mat here, and that'll help the fraying. It is a woven material, so it is going to fray. We're just going to do our very best job to help it from, being extra fray. So we're going to start with our pipe cleaners here. Super easy to follow. Oh, sorry, we're going to just make sure I'm doing all the recordings. Oops. Sorry. There we go. And we're going to add so this is our sign. Super duper cute. I don't know if you're a lime green person or if you're an emerald green person for Christmas. I'm definitely an emerald green. I like pops of the lime green in there, but maybe not. For me personally, my personal decor is in white, red, and emerald green. I do like the lime green just a little bit, but not, not a lot. So anyway, this is our sign for today. And of course we have our ribbons for our bow. The very first thing we're going to do is add our pipe cleaners to the frame. And I'm just going to do that very easily. Our frame has 12 spots for your pipe cleaners. It's exactly where the notches and the holes go. So there are holes that match exactly where the notches are. And then there's also some extra notches holes that we're not necessarily going to be using, but they're there right now. But they're there to help a little bit later on in our design. And you'll see what I mean. So I'm adding these pipe cleaners nice and tight. I'm making sure the pipe cleaner itself kind of wraps right around that wood. I'm not letting it be like loosey-goosey. I'm making sure it is laying right on that wood. And then we're going to go around all very easy just where the notches are and add our pipe cleaners. So I did go with green for the zipped pipe cleaners just because we have green mesh and we have a little bit of green in our ribbon. So it's just going to help it blend in. Our goal is to not see them at all. So it really doesn't matter what color you chose. I just try to make sure it's coordinating. But if you didn't have any and you wanted to use like a neon yellow, You could totally use them. You're just going to make sure you do a little bit extra better job at making sure we hide them all. Okay, so we have them all in. Again, I've already pre-cut the mesh to make sure we were ready. And again, I'm going to set these aside. We're going to set our sign aside. And then we're going to add in our mesh. So I'm going to be kind of doing this motion here a little bit. I know it's going to probably drive you nuts because it drives me nuts. But just because the amount of room we have. All right, I'm going to take our mesh. I'm going to ruffle right up the center, as in the center as possible. As in the center as possible. All the way, all the way. And I'm just going to put it right in our outside pipe cleaners. Now, if you're just watching us for the very first time, welcome, welcome. We are trying our best to make sure we teach you how to make pretty things for your door, and then, of course, inspire you to turn your hobby into a business. It's kind of how I definitely got started. Well, I wasn't a mom then, but I'm a mom now. So just a normal, regular person who always thought you couldn't make money selling crafts. I just had that in my brain. And I'm here to tell you that was just a great big giant lie I told myself. I just didn't know what the heck I was talking about. I didn't know. I had no idea. So after a long journey, it's been a long journey, several years now, little baby steps, one at a time, just a little bit, kind of adding up a little bit at a time, going at my own pace, riding out my own journey. And we have definitely built a nice business here that we are very proud of. I know this is more than just making the wreath, but this is what it's all about, right? A little bit of inspiring, getting to know each other a little bit. I'm just making sure that that pinch in the center is really tight. I want that to go in there and take my pipe cleaner, and when I crisscross here, I want that to cinch it together and tighten it a little bit so that I can overlap my mesh. So we're going to make a pancake wreath. I'm going to overlap my mesh on the top and the bottom. So it kind of has a bowl going on here. I'm going to move my pipe cleaners so that they are where I want them to be. I need my inner pipe cleaners to be ready for me when I'm coming around to the next layer. So I want them nice, sticking up, nice and clear. Everything else is coming out, and I flip all those little ruffles under. So ruffle right up the center. I'm going to make sure I grab that whole piece. I'm not going to just grab the rest. I'm going to grab the whole piece. And as you see, as soon as I let go, it really took up, excuse me, it really took up some real estate and did what it was supposed to do, just kind of fully extended. Nice, good coverage there. Last one all the way. This is a very good mesh. It's got a great coverage. All that foil in there does a lot of hiding. So we do want to hide our frame. Listen, no one loves this frame more than I do. It is a patent pending frame. I am the co-inventor and I love it. However, I'm pretty sure your customer doesn't want to see the actual frame. So we're going to do our best between the mesh the ribbon tails, the bow, and the sign to make sure we cover that completely. So I'm going to take my 2 ribbons. So if this is your kit, if you purchase this kit, or any kit in the future, the ribbon comes coiled, wrapped just like this, okay? You want to make sure that it's 14 inches long, so we do try to wrap them in 14 inches so that it's easy for you to just cut. Now don't cut this one, it's for the bow, but your 2 ribbons that are for your tails are wrapped just like this. Just measure it really quick to make sure it is 14 inches, and then just kind of open that up a little bit, take your scissors and cut and cut. Okay, you want to do that on both ends, so that way you don't have to measure 14 inches cut, 14 inches cut, 14 inches cut. It's already kind of pre-wrapped for you. Just make sure, because sometimes we wrap them in 12 inches, just to be a little difficult for everyone. Okay, so you cut both sides. Now, don't cut that one, it's for the bow. So these are your 2 for the ribbon tails. After I have the tails, after I have them cut, then I go ahead and make sure I fold it. And I cut on the fold up towards the edge just to make a nice polished look here. Super, super pretty. Just making it look a little bit more finished, right? Always going to take my favorite and put it on the top. That's what I do. And I just kind of make sure, now you see one is just a little bit longer than the other. It's fine. Instead of just cutting every single one, you know, exactly 14 inches, I just cut them all at the same time. And no one has ever been like, hey, this ribbon is a little bit longer than that one. You don't notice when you're in, unless you have something that's like considerably, right? Considerably different. And but if it's just a little bit, don't worry. So I just try to make sure that they're in the middle and they're even on both sides. Fold it to find the center and then unfold. And then we're just going to scrunch up the center just like we did on the mesh. You're just going to scrunch it, scrunch it, scrunch it. Kind of fold it and make sure it's all coming out towards me. And then I'm going to put it right in there, right on top. Scrunch that, what is it? Pipe cleaner together. Twist it 7 or 8 times. And then I'm going to do that all the way around. And we're just going to do this just the quicker way. So you do want to make sure that you're fluffing that. That isn't the last step. But just to make sure we're only picking up our wire cutter 1 time instead of 6 times. We're just going to put in all that wire or all that ribbon, and then we'll fluff them all at the same time. That fluffing stage though is super duper important. So you want to make sure you're doing it, and you're doing it, and I am going to say the right way. If you're not doing it the way I'm going to suggest to you, those ribbons will stay on top of each other just like they are right now, and you won't get a chance to see both. So you want to make sure you're doing that extra step in the fluffing so that your ribbons will kind of stay in place. You're going to be the boss of those ribbons. You're going to tell them where to go, what to do, and they're going to listen to you if you listen to me. Okay, so nice and tight, nice and scrunched. Everything goes out towards the edge. We're not going to let any of the mesh or the ribbons be on the inside, because what we're going to put on the inside to cover up all that mesh on the inside is a bow and a sign. So that's the advice I have to you. So this particular design, if you want your end game to look like my end game, just try to follow as closely as possible. What I also would suggest, if this is your very first time playing with mesh and working with mesh, and not playing, I call it playing, but what you could do is after you have your first 12 pieces cut, 12 pieces 20 inches long, if you've already done that, you have some extra left over. What is possible is what's left over is enough to make the frame, the 10-inch frame. But if you've never used this mesh before, cut off a piece, okay, and try to ruffle and do it over and over again just to kind of get you to practice. It's not hard, but those first couple times you might feel like it's a little bit tricky. So I'm just going to go and take off the excess here. Not that you absolutely have to. Of course, that green blends into the green, and so you don't have to do that if you don't want. But just for the sake of, let's get those out of the way, we're going to cut them off and jam out. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, very simple. You know, I have my pipe cleaners ready for me for the next layer, but we definitely want to spread those apart. So what I'm going to do is push that inside. Can I push it? And then I'm going to spread them apart and spread them side to side. Okay? Spread them apart and spread them side to side. So that you're looking at it with a polka dot gingerbread pattern. You want to do that all the way around. You want to keep that the same. So your polka dot gingerbread. And always make sure you are lifting up. Always make sure you're lifting up first and spread it apart second. Lift it up, spread it apart. Lift it up, spread it apart. Lift it up, spread it apart. Okay? The same thing all the way around. That way they will stay where you want them to stay. They will stay right where you want them to stay. Okay, perfect. Now, it's very thin. Okay, we're working on with a pancake design here. So it's very thin. It's going to fit between your main door and your storm door. The next thing we're going to do is add our next layer of mesh. Oopsie. Same exact thing. I just dropped one, sorry. Always dropping. We're going to do the same exact thing, put it right on the top, okay? So we're going to add our ruffle right up the top, right up the center rather. Right up the center. And then go right down on top. Overlap, overlap, now this will start to cover up that very first layer. It's not going to cover it up a lot all the way. And what it's going to do is going to leave, when you add the next layer of ribbon, it's going to leave a very nice, tiered, layered look to your wreath, making it look really full. It's going to be so, so pretty. I absolutely love how these turn out in the end. So this layer starts to really cover up that frame. No one loves that frame more than I do, but we do want to do our best work to cover up the frame so our customer doesn't see it. So cool. Gingerbread has been a very popular design theme this year. You see gingerbread everywhere. My whole entire house is decorated with hot cocoa and gingerbread for Christmas. With the emerald green, of course. Absolutely love. Yeah, we tend to do lots of pancake wreaths here. We do some different things, but if you're looking for different ideas, something bigger, something a little bit more intricate, a little bit more design and lessons, I am part of a creative coaching group where we have several coaches. We're live 6 days a week teaching all sorts of things, garlands, big wreaths, small wreaths, Cricut stuff, wreath attachments, so many, tree decorating, all the things you can think of. You can check it all out. I have all the links in the description of this video. You can go to melslinks.com and you can get everything you need, or you can always text me. It's 810-498-2310, and I can help you along with all the things, all the directions you might be interested in the future. Okay, and then for here, we're going to just do the same thing next. Our next layer is going to go right on the top. Scrunch it up the center, fold it out towards you, put it right down in, crisscross nice and tight, twist, 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 twist. We're going to cut off that excess. We're going to push it in, and we're going to make sure we are pulling those apart both ways, both up and down and side to side. Okay, kind of does pull them a little bit, but you just pull them, put them right back where they belong. And so we're going to do that around the whole thing. Y'all, I started my business in 2015. Technically 2015. I started selling a little bit. I had no idea what I was doing. I officially really started in 2017 and have grown and grown a little bit at a time, at my own pace. I work at my own pace. You know, if I want to sell a lot of wreaths, I'm going to make sure I got a lot of wreaths in Etsy. If I'm not really paying attention to Etsy and I'm really working on selling wreaths at the boutique where I sell, I make sure that's full. I'm you know, I'm my own boss, doing my own thing, trying to make sure I'm reaching my goals, whatever my goals are. Yours goals could be different. I was talking to our folks in the or on my Facebook page the other day, and you know, if you want your hobby to turn into a business so that you can pay for Christmas next year, I had one of the gals who we coach along said exactly that. Her business paid for Christmas this year. That is beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. It's been a great and amazing journey so far. This business has allowed me to do things I never even imagined. And by that, I mean it gave me the freedom of time, not to sit behind a desk for, let's be real, 10 hours a day. And we chased our dreams of becoming parents and became foster parents in 2018. And we adopted our children in 2019. It's been a road that I never thought I was going to be able to be on, just simply because the time I spent behind a desk. And so I encourage you, if you have a talent, if you're watching or listening to me right now and you're like, I can do that. That's how I was. I said, I found my person. I found Damon from Deco Exchange first, and I was like, I can do that. And I'm not a risk taker. Not a risk taker at all, by all means. And I just, my journey and my path kind of, oops, I did that one already. Was on the path to look for another corporate job, because I just lost my corporate job. The company I worked for was bought out, and so our entire office was being eliminated. We had a choice to move to go where I didn't want to go, or move completely to St. Louis. I'm in Michigan. That was a no. And so this kind of just, I don't want to say fell in my lap, but really it fell in my lap. It inspired me at the right time in my life, and it has really been able to provide exactly what I need for time and, of course, financially, to be able to stay home, raise my babies, raise a business. It's been an amazing journey. Okay. So I'm going to start with our sign here. Now, if you purchase this as a kit, I should have told you this at the beginning. If you purchase this as a kit, as our kit, it would be beneficial for you, if you didn't already, if you're doing it right now. Your kit comes with these 2 zip tie mounts. They are meant to run your zip tie or your pipe cleaner or zip tie, whatever, through the top. Okay? And then you just, so it sticks here, and then you take your pipe cleaners and you put it through the mesh, and that's how your wreath is attached. So your kit comes with these. I use a staple gun. If you're going to use these, if you don't have a staple gun at home, that's totally fine. What I would suggest to you is peel off the back. If you have a little bit of DAP Rapid fuse glue or some super glue, put a little teeny tiny pea spot there and peel off the whole thing, of course, and stick it to the back. And if I'm doing that method, I always use clamps, like big heavy duty clamps, to help keep them, together and tight and, get a good grip and until they dry. Okay. And then I'll add my pipe cleaners and then add it to the sign. So if you haven't done that already, do that now. What we're going to do is we're going to use a staple gun. So what I do is our sign is not quite a 1/4 of an inch. It's not quite a 1/4 of an inch, but our staple is a 1/4 of an inch. So all I do, it was from a 50-yard roll. It was the end of the spool, the top and the bottom of the ribbon spool. It's just a little thick cardboard. And if I add 2 pieces of that to both sides, then I'm adding enough to cushion so that the staple doesn't go through. Okay. So all I'm going to do is put those 2 here. So 2 little pieces, one on top of another. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and put with force. Okay, with force. Oh, of course, that one I didn't put with force. Let me just make sure I'm good here. Oh, glad I looked. There we go. Okay, now again, with force, push down. Sometimes that happens. It's fine. There we go. It's in there good, and then I'm going to do the next one right over on this side. Now, if you feel better, you can do 2 pipe staples. I just always do 1. So then I'm going to use this to go into the wreath. I'm just going to place this on here, and then we can go through and make our bow first. It's going to be so cute. I love these. I've done so many kits with the gingerbread, so many wreaths. It looks so cute. I love them. And I will also say the gingerbread wreaths have been the ones that sold the quickest. Super duper cute. All right, so we're going to add we're going to make our bow. So your kit comes with ribbon exactly to make the bow that we're going to make right now. So pay attention to the measurements so that your bow looks like our bow with the measurements we have going on here. So we're going to take our 2.5 inch ribbon first, or 2.5 inch red and white diagonal. We're going to go at 7 inches. We're going to make our first loop at 6 inches. So our ribbon is a little thin on the inside, but it's super cute. So we're definitely going to use this. 6 inches, and I'm going to pinch. Y'all, after making so many wreaths, my thumb has split. It's getting pretty dry, so I got bandages on it. It's pretty hard to make a bow with that. Pinch. Twist. Make our last loop. So this bow is going to have 2 loops on one side, 2 tails on the other side, and 1 loop. So I'll show it to you in just a second. We have 2 tails, 2 loops, 2 tails, 2 loops, and 1 loop. Okay, so every time we add a next layer to this bow, our 2 loops are going to go opposite. Okay, and then we're going to also make sure, so this stripe ribbon is going to go in between the diagonal when we're fluffing it out. And then the same for the polka dots, those will go between the stripes. Okay, so we're just going to take our tail. It's going to be a little bit shorter. Now your first layer is 7 inches tail, 6 inches loop. Everything after that is just a little bit smaller. You can go in 1/2 inch smaller. If you really want a different looking bow, you can go 1 inch smaller. But I try to just do 1/2 inch. I'm just going to go pinch, twist, loop, pinch, and then twist, of course, on that last tail. The 2 loops are over here. I want my 2 loops on the opposite side. Again, we're going to do exactly what I said. We're going to make sure our layers go in between. Okay, we're going to make sure they go in between. So it is, so you're getting all the look. Okay, you're getting all the look. Now, of course, with our super cute little polka dots on the top. Now, we're going to have a tail, again, a little bit smaller than the previous. But on this top, we're going to make a teeny tiny little loop that's about 2.5 inches. This is going to help us hide our zip tie or our pipe cleaner that we're going to keep the bow together with. So that's not going to count as our 3. I'm just going to make our next 3. Pinch, twist, and loop. Pinch, twist, and loop. Pinch, and twist. Now again, I'm going to make sure that those 2 loops go opposite of those 2 loops. So I'm going to put the 2 loops over here on this side, and then we'll do the same fluffing where that's going to go up over there. Oops. It's going to go over here. It's going to go over here. This is going to go down here. This is going to go right there. And that's going to go right there. Okay? Perfect. Now, we're going to cut off the excess that we don't need. It's a little more manageable to work with. Perfect. So this is all the leftover we have. And then because my hands are a little not as strong as they used to, I'm going to use a zip tie. Your kit comes with a pipe cleaner. I have carpal tunnel, so I can't get the pipe cleaner to twist tight enough with the way my hands are kind of working to make sure that that's going to be a little bit super secure. So I've been adding a zip tie and using the zip tie tool to tighten them. This is not something you have to do. This is just because my hands don't have the strength that they used to anymore. So I'm just going to take this off there. I'm going to lift it up. Before I get to the top, I'm going to make sure I squish down nice and tight. Hold my bow. And then add my zip tie right to the top. Of course, this bandage is catching on everything. Okay, and then I want my teeth to my tool. If you're using this tool, I want the teeth to the tool and the rigid edge or the teeth to my zip tie to match up. Those two things have to touch each other so that it will actually cut. So I'm just going to slide it in sideways. I'm going to pull tight once, pull tight twice. It'll tighten it as far as it can, and as much as it can, and then cut off the excess. Again, not something you need to do, not something you have to do, but then from there, I'm just going to take my pipe cleaner, add it to the top, so then I can have something to attach it with. Now this is a perfect size bow for gifts, for all these things that you're getting ready to do for the holiday season. Adding it to your perfect size to add to your tree. Did I not cut these extras? Nope, I sure didn't. There we go. Okay, so then we're going to go from the top and bring that first loop, that little tiny loop right to the top. I'm holding on to it in the back just so that I can make sure I have a nice big grip. This is going to be the top of our bow. And those tails that we put in that first layer of tails, that's going down to the bottom layer. Where are we going here? Super duper cute, just like that. Adorable. Okay. And then we're going to put in our sign. We're going to fully attach our sign. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it goes over 1, 2, 3, 4 pipe cleaners right on top. Okay, then I'm going to take the actual pipe cleaner and go right through the mesh. I'm going to go through the mesh so that this is the hardest part, y'all. So that it can wrap around the actual frame. There we go. Just kind of feel for it in there. And then tie it tight against the frame. We'll tighten that one, and we'll do both of them at the same time, okay? So I'm going to put this one in. Do this the exact same thing. Put that mesh or the pipe cleaner right through. Both of them go right through. Now there's so many layers in there that this does get a little tricky, even for me. Sometimes when I'm making just not a kit, I use wire instead of the pipe cleaners. Okay. So then, once I for sure have it in place, I can move it and attach it around the frame. Now you see those extra holes there? You can use those if you couldn't get your pipe cleaner around the whole entire frame. You could use those and just wrap the pipe cleaner around that so it would be secure. We had enough pipe cleaner to get around the whole thing. So I'm just going to make sure I secure that and then hide the rest so that you can't see it. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for our ribbon, the ribbons in the pipe cleaners for our bow. It's going to go right here. And then we'll do the last thing we do is make sure all of our ribbons are facing the right way, doing the right thing, look the way they're supposed to look, all that stuff. So this is going to go right in that open spot, perfect space, right here. We're going to make sure it doesn't cover those words too much. Right, it's going to cover them maybe just a little bit, but not too much. So we're just going to put that pipe cleaner right down in there. one in. The other. Now this would probably be one where it would be good to grab one of those holes, but I'm just not working out that way. It's near it, but I just don't want to mess with it too much to grab it. I'll show you in just a second. See, we're near it. We're just not, it wasn't a perfect match, not a perfect spot. So I just went real close. That's it. Always make sure that those extras are hidden underneath there, because the edge of those pipe cleaners are pokey. We don't want to be, you know, poking our customers or anything. Super duper cute. Totally love it. So here's the bottom of our bow. Let me just switch it around a little bit this way. There we go. The bottom of our bow has those two tails coming down. Those are the longest part of our bow, so I want those coming down the bottom of the wreath. So pretty. Absolutely love it. Super cute. And then of course the very last thing I do is always to make sure our ribbons are all facing the right way right before they go up, right up on that stage on the door to take their final picture. So we can get that wreath listed on our Etsy shop. I also sell at a local boutique, so those pictures are also going over to them if I bring the design over to them as well to, you know, to sell. So that's kind of in two places. You know, it's helpful for them too to have a nice, crisp, good picture. So no matter where you're selling, I try to make sure that those pictures have nothing in the background, nice and bright and crisp. Super duper cute. I'm going to put that one on top. There we go. All of our ribbons are doing exactly what we want them to. And it is just absolutely darling. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you are following us and listening to all our wreath making tips and inspirations and all of our other crafty things that we're going to be doing here. So please make sure that you are subscribed, following us, all those things. I love this. If y'all purchase this kit, thank you very much. If you are still watching, thank you very much. I hope to see you again soon, and I hope to help inspire you and brush up on your skills and your bow making skills. It's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. I'll see you again soon.